Oh my God, Anita.
Hello, welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show. Hope all y'all doing well. I would have been here a little bit earlier, had a little technical difficulties. Enough about the trivial nature of what goes on in my life, computer-wise and all of that. Let's talk about Alex Jones, because you can't get any more middle of the road and non-controversial than Alex Jones. Well, he's in a whole lot of trouble. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you the video clip and comment on it. We all know what's about pretty much, but I'm going to go and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and play it anyway. So give me a moment here. We will set everything up. All right. Get rid of the echo, because you don't want to hear that echo. Let's see this technology here. All right. And we shall start right now. Here we go.
Question number 1. $4,200,000. Question number 2. $20,500,000. Question number 3. $20,500,000. Maybe see it. I think the record and I'm sure the judgment properly reflects the laws of the state of Texas.
What was that about? Well, basically, y'all remember when Alex Jones doing the conspiracy theories all these years about I mean, went beyond the gay frogs and all of that. And he started making all kinds of conspiracies and accusations about all kinds of things that were so fantastic and just so nutty. And so the man is a moron, and he you know, you have free speech, and I defend free speech like there's no tomorrow. You hear me talk about it all the time. I do. I mean, I've always felt like that taking away his channel, like giving the channel the internet death penalty, was in fact was a kind of an attack on his free speech. Now, having that said, do I have a problem with the close to $50 million that Alex Jones owes to the parents of the victim of the Sandy Hook shooting? Do I have any empathy for him in that regard? Not really, because he brought it on himself. I mean, it didn't have to be that way. I mean, you know, it's one thing to be a partisan hack and to pretty much demonize your political opponents. I mean, that's what you do in a democracy. I may complain about what right-wing people say and do, but it is ultimately their right to criticize people on my side or people who they think is on my side. But, you know, just as I have a right to criticize the other side, or any side on any issue, I have a right to my opinions too, and that's how it should be in this country. But what Alex Jones did endangered the lives of the family that were involved with the Sandy Hook shooting, and I know why he did it. It was basically out of his just trying to feed to his audience this paranoia about them trying to take away your guns. Now, yeah, do I think that there are some overzealous liberals that would love to get rid of the Second Amendment? Sure. It'll never happen in a million years. One, the NRA is too powerful. I'm not particularly a fan of gun control, but I am not a fan of the NRA. They are highly partisan, highly right-wing, and they're more concerned about other issues other than gun control. And I can guarantee you, the day that you see a Medicare for All rally and you see people with guns, or the day you see Black Lives Matter with guns or Antifa with guns, will be the day that an NRA and gun owners of America will all be for gun control. Remember, Ronald Reagan enacted gun control as the governor of California to put a stop to the Black Panthers in the 1960s. So, to all those people who vote Republican because you're scared that them Democrats are going to take away your guns, not that the Democrats are worth supporting, but to go and vote Republican because of that, that's kind of stupid. Yeah, because you know, the Republicans, even if they not trying to take away your guns, are trying to take away your other rights. So there's that. But Alex Jones is so concerned about this whole thing about the gun control and making that into a culture war that he was willing to embellish things like the Sandy Hook massacre being a damn hoax. And, you know, and obviously, you know, it wasn't a hoax that happened. So that's not the only bit of trouble he's in right now. He's in more trouble than just the Sandy Hook. And yeah, he's $50 million sting like hell. I mean, I know what it's like to work to get a loan for a couple of $1,000s at the bank and having to pay that shit back. So, you know, being a working class stiff like I am. But for Alex Jones, I mean, for anybody, $50 million is a lot of money. It really is. You know, I would hate to be in his shoes, but I don't really feel sorry for him because, you know, he brought that shit on himself. In that regard, I mean, he could have used his humor and he could have said crazy things without having to endanger the lives of people involved with Sandy Hook, with the threats that were made and the stalking that was made against the family. That was uncalled for. I defend free speech. I do not defend the right of threats or intimidation. And there is that fine line right there. But at the same time, I still think it was wrong in 2018 for them to pull Infowars off the air, off of all the social media and all the Apple and Spotify and all of that. I thought it was wrong then. I still think it's wrong now. But as far as the damages from the legal fees and all of that, and the awarding of $50 million, good. I have no problem with that. At the end of the day, have no problem with that whatsoever. I'm going to play you a segment here from the David Pakman show. That's on Alex Jones, and I'll comment shortly thereafter. Hold on a second. Okay. Oops. We will get it ready. All right. Here we go.
All right, I know there's been a lot of Alex Jones stuff on today's program, but it really is an incredible situation. Now, as if things aren't already looking bad enough for Infowars conspiracy theorist Alex Jones after getting caught lying yesterday in court and all of these other things, we are now learning that as a result of what has come out in the defamation trial, the January 6th committee is planning to subpoena Alex Jones. This is an exclusive from Rolling Stone. January 6th committee prepares to subpoena Alex Jones' texts and emails. Jones' lawyers in a Sandy Hook defamation case fumbled 3 years worth of texts and emails. The committee would like to know more about any contacts with Donald Trump's team regarding the January 6th Capitol attack. This is, and I'm not logged in, and we're not even going to deal with that right now. I have another article about this. January 6th panel set to subpoena Alex Jones after revelations in defamation trial. The January 6th Select Committee is reportedly planning to subpoena far-right conspiracy theorist Alex Jones after his texts and emails were revealed Wednesday in a defamation lawsuit filed by Sandy Hook shooting victim families. In a cross-examination, Sandy Hook victims attorney Mark Bankston told Jones his lawyer erroneously sent Bankston 3 years worth of the conspiracy theorist's emails and text messages copied from his phone. The January 6th Select Committee is now reportedly preparing to request those records from the attorneys representing the Sandy Hook victims to investigate the deadly Capitol insurrection. This is just unbelievable, going from bad to worse for Alex Jones. And Jones has managed to keep himself more or less isolated from the January 6th committee probe. That appears to be ending at this point in time, and it would not shock me. I mean, listen, at this point, I'm glad all of this is happening. It genuinely seems like this is what Alex Jones deserves if we want to talk about merit. But Alex Jones must be considering, do I fire my attorneys? Do I have grounds for appeal later based on improper or incompetent representation by counsel? Because this is just going wrong for him in absolutely every sense of the word. And it is not completely implausible that this could be the end of Infowars. Now, if that's the case, I'm not going to take pleasure in it from a personal perspective, but I do think it's important to be able to have a conversation about, is this entity a net positive or a net negative for the world and for society? And there's a real question about that, to put it lightly, to understate it, when it comes to Infowars. So we're going to be watching all of this. Let's hope that the January 6th committee does get those texts. Why? Well, because we should know to what degree Alex Jones was coordinating with people in Trump's circle. So that's the latest there. And we'll do one more Alex Jones thing before we move on.
Now I know that David Pakman is kind of a shit lib, but he sometimes do provide relevant information and coherent commentary. So so when he's one of the few boutique leftists I will still listen to occasionally, and I mean I generally still like to watch David Pakman occasionally, guilty pleasure. But anyway, suffice to say, I like the question he posed. If this would mean the end of Infowars, and is this a net gain or a negative? And I think it kind of connects to what I've been saying because any bad takes that David Pakman may have occasionally, I have always given him credit for this, that he is a free speech absolutist. I do know that about him. With regard to his takes on these matters. And again, I don't like the material or the politics of Infowars as a general rule, especially during the Obama years all the way to the present. I would say that during the Bush-Cheney era, not that I liked it then, but at least back then, Alex Jones was occasionally correct. And as I said before, I known people who were Young Turks / Infowars fans. There were people who were actually watching the Young Turks and Alex Jones and liked them both. I known people who actually liked both programs. As hard as it is to believe in the year 2022, back in 2007 and 2008, and a little bit even in 2009, there were people that were watching Alex Jones and liking it, and watching the Young Turks and liking it. I'm not kidding you. There were people like that out there. And Alex Jones was not wrong when he was defending leftists during Occupy Wall Street, when the police were attacking leftist demonstrators. But Alex Jones was wrong always, with shit like the birther thing. I dislike Obama, but it was from the left. I despised Obama from the left. He despised Obama from the right. But this whole thing about Obama being a secret Kenyan Muslim was bullshit. And honestly, and to my dismay, finding out where it came from, Hillary Clinton. So all these right-wing fucks out there that were spouting around the Tea Party rallies, all this birther bullshit about Obama being a secret Muslim from Kenya. Many of them don't even know that they got this shit from Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was the one that came up with the birther theory. Just as a lot of these people who want to sit there and suck Donald Trump's cock don't even know that it was Bill and Hillary Clinton, that they were friends with Donald Trump as recent as the year 2015, 2016. And it was Bill and Hillary Clinton that urged Donald Trump to run for president, to go and disrupt the Republican Party from within to make it easier for Hillary Clinton to win in November of 2016. And how weird it is that Alex Jones became a sycophant for Donald Trump when it was really the Clintons that kind of pushed Donald Trump into the White House, unintentionally on their part. But, it shows that they're not that bright, as toxic as the Clintons are. So, so that's kind of there's just kind of what's going on there. But Alex Jones looks like he's in big trouble. I don't know how much trouble, how much in the poorhouse he's going to be. I think that he's got, I'm hearing that he's got several $100 million stashed away. So $50 million is a sting, but it's not an ultimate sting. It would really hurt if that's all you got. But if you're having several $100 million stashed away somewhere, he probably tried to rebuild his media empire back and little by little expose the world of the money he's got stashed away. So that's what it's looking like from my perspective. Now, as a treat for y'all, because I always enjoyed the segments years ago when Kyle Kulinski used to clown on Alex Jones, and this is probably one of my favorites. And I will play it for you. Is a college student that she's got a YouTube channel that she doesn't really use that much anymore. And Dasha Nekrasova, I believe is her name. I don't know if that's her real name. But anyway, she runs what is called a Red Scare podcast. But here she is as a student being harassed by an Infowars person back in the day. So this is during the days when Bernie Sanders ran in 2016. So I'm going to play you that segment. I'll put it in a moderate speed to kind of speed things up a little bit, and I'll comment on it shortly thereafter, maybe a little bit during. So give me a second here. All right. This is one of my favorites.
Infowars pulled a video of theirs. Now, I'm not sure if this was just on their Twitter feed and then they deleted the tweet, or I'm not sure if it was on the YouTube channel and they pulled it from the YouTube channel, but I know they pulled it because this tweet blew up on Twitter and that's what everybody was saying. So, this is a random woman who's just like minding her business, and an Infowars newbie comes up to her and tries to talk to her about certain political issues. And she kind of like casually and nonchalantly owns them. This is pretty funny.
Hi, are you looking at Bernie Sanders?
Yeah, I am.
What do you like about him?
That he's a socialist.
Why is socialism good?
Are you like, I don't really want to do this. What is this for?
We're asking people why they like Bernie Sanders.
For Infowars?
Yes, we are Infowars.
I think he has a lot of integrity. I like his value system, I like what he stands for.
Exactly what values.
Eating the rich.
I love that. I love that when she said that. I just totally, absolutely love that. And what I love about her, she's like, it's like, this is before I heard of She One Head. She's like, it's like if She One Head had a like really sinister, sarcastic, evil sister. I mean, she's really badass. I really love this segment here. So I will continue with this.
Eating the rich. Well, are you aware that Bernie Sanders lives in $3 million homes?
No, I was not aware of that.
Yeah. And are you aware? I'm going to ask you something. So if they're about eating the rich, why do you think so many of the 1% support socialism?
Is that true?
It's very true.
Like who?
Well, for example, you know Venezuela, right?
Heard of it.
A majority of the country is currently eating rats while their politicians are drinking champagne on a daily basis.
But that's not the 1%.
The 1% of Venezuela.
I'm talking about America.
Well, I'm saying, since if Bernie Sanders were president, right, and he wanted to bring the same ideas as for socialism into this country,
Yeah.
do you think that we would benefit?
Yeah.
But I just told you Venezuela is eating rats.
But I just want people to have health care, honey. I don't want like.
Well,
Same thing Hugo Chavez.
Oh my god.
He was taking over in Venezuela.
You people have like worms in your brain, honestly.
I mean, you're the one who can't answer the question.
What question?
The question is why you support socialism. You can have healthcare without socialism.
I want people to have free health care.
Why free?
Pays for it.
Why would the government pay for it?
Because I think everyone has a right to have health care.
Oh, that was glorious. I think whatever that new what this new girl is doing, the mistake that she's making is, number one, she makes no sense, so you're not going to look good when you're not making sense. But number two is she's too, like, you're supposed to let the person that you're talking to do most of the talking and hang themselves in a way. You know, like, you're not supposed to be doing most of the talking to try to push an ideology on people. The whole point of segments like this, they do them on Fox News. The whole idea is you say as little as possible and you just get them to keep talking and eventually they'll say something ridiculous. But basically what happened is those roles got inverted. And this noob from Infowars did more talking, and the more she did the talking, the more everybody, you could just listen and go, okay, you're not really making any sense. And then the other one was like, I just want people to have healthcare. Oh, I love this. Oh, that was pretty funny. So I think what happened was when she saw Infowars, she knew that she knows what Infowars is, I think. And she like trolled them. I like when she said the eat the rich thing. Because obviously she's not in favor of eating the rich. Nobody's actually in favor of eating the rich. So there's a little troll job there. And then, of course, by the way, there were lies from Infowars. Oh, Bernie owns $3 million homes. He doesn't own $3 million homes. He has 3 homes. By the way, he never said, I'm against people owning multiple homes. And the fact still remains, he's the poorest member of the Senate. So the fact that he has 3 places, not a single person has ever proposed. Bernie Sanders has never proposed a bill. Here is the people should only able to have 2 places max act of 2013. He never did. He never proposed that because he doesn't believe that, and nobody on the left believes that you should fucking mandate, have a limit on the number of places you can get, or somehow 3 places is not within reason, when again he's the poorest member of the Senate. So it's just a bullshit right-wing talking point. And it's just
Not only that, I mean, I get so tired of having to sit there myself, sitting there having to debate socialism with right-wingers and economic libertarians and various stripes of conservatives, as if their notion of socialism is the correct notion of socialism, that somehow to be a socialist or to be in favor of it means that we're all forced to live like paupers and forced to live as humbly and in little shacks and we're all equally poor and all of that, and that's not what it means. And it's ridiculous how they just strawman this shit and get away with it, and they get away with it, and it's so dumb how they get away with it. Anyway,
and it's just a lie, because they're not $1 million homes at all. One of them was like fucking inherited when I think one of Jane's family members died or something like that. And they're actually relatively modest homes, despite the bullshit that you're hearing. And then I love the implication from the Infowars clown of, oh yeah, well, if Bernie was president, we'd be eating rats. Take a little bit of time to come up with slightly less hacky arguments against your political opponents. I know it's hard because you love to smell your own farts and you love to pretend like the other side has no arguments whatsoever. But maybe instead of straw manning your opponents as if this girl or any democratic socialist is like, I think we should eat rats, maybe steel man your opponent and look at their strongest arguments and then try to counter it. But they don't do that because they can't actually counter argue. So you come up with some ridiculous notion of what you think your opponents want, and then you argue against that. And then I don't know if you heard the other guy chime in. I don't know if that guy works for Infowars or if he's just a regular douchebag right-winger walking on the street. But he's like, when she said, I just want people to have health care, some guy chimed in like, that's the same thing Hugo Chavez says. That's the same thing Hugo Chavez says. That's also the same thing every Australian says. Are they all evil devil people who don't?
Well, and what's so funny about it that you take a country like Israel that many evangelical Christians and secular neocons worship, and if you criticize them, you're anti-Semitic and socialism is evil. But they forget that socialists created the damn country and that they have free healthcare. You tell them that, they're like, no, it isn't like that at all. It isn't like that. They want you to think it's West Virginia or Mississippi or something like that. Now, I don't like the way that Israel treats the Palestinians, but you know what? It's good that they provide health care for the population, but they need to go and treat the Palestinians equally. Let's go and do that. But as far as that's just another straw man that for some reason they just kind of miss out. So when Germany did have health care for everybody under Hitler. It is true. But it wasn't Hitler and the Nazis that created the healthcare system. It was the center-right government of Otto von Bismarck going back into the year 1881. And the Christian Democratic Party is the equivalent to what the Republican Party would be here, except that the Christian Democratic Party is much further left. Of course, most conservative parties in the Western world are to the left of even the Democratic Party on various economic issues like healthcare. But you try saying that to the right wing, they in this country, they can't reason with that. And all of a sudden, it's kind of like, we like the Overton window the way it is over here. And that's how they are. It's just crazy. It's nuts. But anyway, I'll let Kyle continue.
Don't know anything and are assholes and are idiots. That's also the same thing everybody in Canada says, everybody in the UK, everybody in France, Norway, Denmark, Iceland, Sweden, Finland, Greenland, every other developed country on the fucking planet, except the United States. Somehow we're right and everybody else is wrong and dumb. And don't look at the 45,000 people that die every year in the US because they don't have access to basic care because something wait line. So dumb. And the final point is, I love the preposterous notion of the Infowars reporter. I shouldn't use that word. The 1% support socialism. The 1% support socialism? No, they support oligarchy. They support plutocracy. They support corporatism, which is not capitalism, because capitalism, there's actual competition, so they could lose their fortune. They support corporatism, which is socialism for the rich. So money for them personally, not socialism as in democratic socialism or social democracy, which is what Bernie Sanders supports, which is, hey, let's give everybody healthcare, let's give everybody a college education, let's have universal daycare, let's tax the rich. So they don't support socialism as in Bernie Sanders style socialism. That's why they hate him. That's why he's anathema to, Hillary Clinton and fucking George W. Bush and Mitt Romney and even Donald Trump. That's why they despise this guy, because this guy threatens their power, threatens their money, threatens their elite status. So no, the fucking 1% doesn't like Bernie Sanders style social democracy. That's utter nonsense. The 1% supports corruption. They support rigging the system in their favor. They support plutocracy. They support oligarchy. And you are their useful idiot.
And he's correct as usual in that regard. And one thing that I, whether one is a socialist and very stridently anti-capitalist, and even if one is supportive of capitalism, either way, to be against universal health care is absolute utter stupidity, because if you oppose universal health care, it actually makes this country less competitive. I don't like Jordan Peterson, but Jordan Peterson said, I was watching an old Joe Rogan podcast, and I was pleasantly surprised to find out when he was younger, he belonged to the New Democratic Youth in Canada, which the New Democratic Party is their socialist party, their Labor Party. So he was a young lefty at one time. But even today, he said that the Canadians are better off with their healthcare system, even if it has some problems, than the Americans are. The Americans, he didn't use the word fuck, but he basically said the Americans are fucked with their healthcare system. And that basically the rest of the Western world, which managed to find a way to provide medical care for all, are better off. And the only problem with Venezuela right now in the year 2022 is all the bullying that the United States government's been doing all these years down in Venezuela. Any strong arm tactics that has been done by the government of Venezuela that I would not support is a result of the United States bullying the country. Because honestly, in many ways, the country is more democratic than the United States. They actually have a freer press in the United States. They don't have a death penalty. They have more political parties in their parliament right now, and they have a more democratic electoral system than we do. And if the United States stop fucking with them, maybe they'll be more democratic, small d. Now, there's been they have actually eased restrictions on Venezuela recently. And it's with the United States being selfish and wanting lower gas prices, which I don't blame them for wanting lower gas prices, but it was a smart thing to do, to go and make nice with Venezuela. It's a smart thing to do on two grounds. One, it will help the American consumer. And that's why you're seeing gas prices lowering at the pump now, because we're actually easing restrictions on Venezuela. I think that if you treat Venezuela well, Venezuela will be a thriving country. And that's where I stand, and that's the hill I die on with regard to that. Also, the fact that it'll give John Bolton an ulcer also would make me very happy. Or Mark Levin, it will give him an ulcer. That will make me very happy as well. It'll just stress the fuck out of Ben Shapiro too. I would love to see the right wing get all triggered because of it. That's another good reason, so anyway, that's just, I would call it the little dessert or the little treat as far as the hardcore meat and potatoes practicality of why it's good to ease restrictions on Venezuela. But getting back to Alex Jones, as I said, he's in a heap of trouble, and he's done it to himself. He has done it to himself. Now, with regard to gun rights, as I said, I oppose gun control, but if you're against gun control, don't join the NRA. Don't join groups like the NRA or Gun Owners of America to go and enable the right wing. If you're going to go and do that, I would recommend joining the Socialist Rifles Association. And the Socialist Rifles Association is an organization of social democrats and socialists and, various, even communists and trots or what have you, people on the left who are opposed to gun control. And their idea is that, the working class needs to defend themselves against union busters. They need to defend themselves against racists and anti-Semitic fucks and homophobes and all these people who are declaring alt-right and all these people who are actually declaring war against minorities and declaring war against unions and declaring war against LGBTQ, and we all need to get together, and us leftists too, because they hate the left as well, the right wing. We pose a threat because we provide a better way of life for people at the end of the day. So enough of my ranting right now. I see that we have here on the chat line, we had Hot Retarded Chicks. It's great seeing you here today. All right, and let's see. He's a girlie. I don't know. Who dresses that guy? Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. Let's see. Okay, you say I'm becoming mildly attracted to him. Okay, says a fucking lot. I'm signing up right away. Okay. Oh, okay. Great. So anyway, that's pretty much what I have to say right now. And let's see here. Let me do this. If you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree with what I have to say, comment anyway. We will have a conversation. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As the First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it, because we are, in fact, the muckrakers of our time. Subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell, and until next time, remember to reject corporate media because they have absolutely nothing to offer, and you must look at corporate media. By all means, do so with a critical eye. I always do. So until next time, I wish you all a good day, and I will end this segment here with some music, of course. Y'all take care.